Okay, friends, Daf Tzadi Ches Amud Beis. The Gemara has a shayla like this, about 10 lines on the top. Yiboy lahu. Amar le, let's say you tell a shliach, Zavin li lischa va'azav v'zavin le kura. You say, buy me a half an acre, and he buys a whole acre. You say, buy a half a car, and he buys a car. The question is, Mai, do we say, Moisef al dvarvu? He's adding to what you said. You said buy a half a car. So he bought a car. So but at least he got half of it right. So he did what you wanted, and then beyond that, he's doing his own thing. But at least for the first half, he's doing what you want, and the first half should stand. Oidilma maver al dvarvu. Or do we say, listen, he's not listening to you. He's doing his own agenda, and even regarding buying a half a car, v'lischa nami loikani. And regarding the half a kor, it's also, he's not kaina. Rashi says, Amar le zavin li lischa. You say to him, buy me a half a kor. Rashi says, Amar le shluchai mechar misadoisai beis chatzi kor. Rashi says the case is, you say, sell half a kor. So the case is, you say, sell half a kor, and the guy sells a whole kor. So do we say, he's adding to what you did? V'lischa miyakani. The buyer is kaina a half a car, like keach, and on a half a car, if the Baal Bayis wants to retract, he can't. Or do we say, no, the whole thing is null and void, he's a maver al dvarav. Now, what would you say the halacha would be if the Baal Bayis said, not just sell half a car, he said sell half a car and you better not sell anything more. And the guy sells a whole car.
That's no good.
Do we say, well, at least he got half of what you wanted, right? So regarding that, it's valid. It's only on beyond that it's not good. So the Machon Ephraim says no. Then clearly he violated the das of Baal Bayis. So then the question is, well, why would you have to say don't sell more than a half a kor? You said sell a half a kor. I mean, how much clearer do you need to be? So, why exactly is it potentially okay if you didn't say the words and don't sell an iota more? So it seems like then we could say, if you don't say and don't sell an iota more, maybe you're not makbid. Why? Why would you not be makbid? Because I'm not losing out. If I don't like the additional amount that you sold, I'll just retract it. So that's in this context, I want to share with you what Rabbi Kiva says, because Rabbi Kiva in the Goyen Ashas says, "Iyun beperek dalid mishnah dalid the Chumash berash sham." The Rosh is one of the perushim on Mishnah. If I'm not mistaken, the Rosh was a student of Rashi. And today's Rashi's yard site. So that's not bad. Chavtes Tammuz. The Rosh. Let's see. No, the Rosh is Rabbeinu Shimshon Bar Avram of Shans. The Rosh is Rabbeinu Shimshon of Shans. He's a student of the Ri Hazaken. He wrote a pirush on Zra'im. When Tosfos in Shas quotes the Rashba, it's Rabbeinu Shimshon, the pirush on Zra'im. So he's a Talmud of the Ri Hazaken. There's another individual, Rabbeinu Shimon, who's a student of Rashi. But this is Rabbeinu Shimshon, student of Ri Hazaken. Okay. The question is, what does he say? He says as follows. He says, why by Teruma, if you send a shliach to take off Teruma, if the shliach is moisef on what the Mishaleach says, the whole shlichus is batal. In other words, we saw on Daf Tzadik Tes, if the Mishalech didn't give any instructions, the Shliach has to assume he's a Beinanis. And we give wiggle room that he could do 10% more. But what if he did give instructions and the shliach violated it? Then the whole thing's off. So why is it that if you give instructions to sell land and the shliach violates the terms, in other words, Mishalech says, sell a half an acre. So if you sell a whole acre, the Gemara has a shaila, maybe moisef al dvarav. Why don't we say the same thing by Teruma? Let's say you tell a shliach, give 1/50th. If he gives 1/40th, all bets are off, the whole thing is off. Why don't we say there also, moisef al dvarav? That's the kasha of the Rosh in Trumais Parak Daled Mishnah Daled. You hear the kasha? Pash the kasha. What's the tzad over here? That moisef al dvarav, we don't say moisef al dvarav by Teruma. Anybody see in the Rosh where this is quoted? So I don't have the Rosh in front of me.
I texted Rabbi on WhatsApp.
Let's see. Oh, Yaakov was sent it? Okay. The Mishnah there says, "Ha'omer l'shluchai tzei v'taraim tarim kedatish b'abayis many yodei datish b'abayis tarim v'beinanis." Let's see. Okay, I think it might be on the next page. So basically the Rosh Mishan says as follows. He says that by Teruma, if the shliach is moisef on the mishaleach, the whole shlichus is batal. Why? Because the mishaleach is makbid. Mashein Kain by sales, the mishaleach is not makbid. Why? Because he doesn't lose out. See, by Teruma, I guess there's no recourse for the mishaleach, because if he's not happy, he can't get it back. So then he's makbid. Mashein Kain by a sale, if he's not happy with it, he could say, "Look, I never appointed you for that," and he could get it back. So what do we see from here? That the svara of moisef al dvarav is that the mishaleach is not makbid on what the shliach does, because the mishaleach is not mafsid. I don't see where the Rosh Mishans is saying this. Maybe it's on the next page? I don't see it. Yeah, on the second page. Thank you. He says like this: V'tema hadi ibayla beparak amanani zaynes ar Gemara zaven li lischa sela lesavazo zaven le kura mahu moisav al dvarv havi v'lischa miyakani oy mavra al dvarv havi v'lischa nami loy kani tifsha mehacha de mavra al dvarv havi de moisav al dvarav hava shiura Mia lahave truma umas nisin masha deina truma klal. So in other words, what's the Gemara shaila? Whether you're moisef al dvarav or you're mavat al dvarav, why don't we prove from this Mishnah in Truma? Right, because the Mishnah says like this: "Neskavein lahaisef afilu achas ein truma truma." The Mishnah says for sure that if the shliach is mechavein to do more than the Baal Habayis wanted, then it's not effective. The shlichus is off. We don't say that. In other words, by in our Gemara, there's a tzad of Moisef al Devarav. Moisef al Devarav says that it is effective, it's just the additional is not effective. And yet by Teruma we say that if you're Moisef al Devarav, then it's totally not effective, right? That's the kasha of the Rosh Mishans. Tifshoit mehacha de maver al dvarav have di moisef al dvarav have shiura. It should be Teruma, and the Mishnah says it's not Teruma at all. To which the Rosh says the shani hacha de ikap seida lebalabayis. By Teruma, there's a loss to the balabayis. Im herba shliach betruma im timtzaloyme de kashir have Teruma nimtzu chulin meduma min Teruma. So here the balabayis stands to lose. So if he stands to lose, the mishalech is makbid. Mashain kain by a sale, the mishalech doesn't stand to lose. So the idea of moisef al devarav is that that mishalech is not makbid. It's a lack of hakpada. So in other words, when the Machanei Ephraim says that if the mishalech says explicitly, you better not sell more than I tell you, so obviously he is makbid. But if he doesn't specify that, then you could argue that maybe he's not makbid. Why? Because loy hifsid. By Teruma, where he's hifsid, then potentially, then you could say he's makbid on that. He's makbid because of the pseida. Mashain came by a sale where he has recourse, then you could say loy hifsid. And therefore loy hikbid. Okay, so that's Rabbi Akiva Eiger's referring us to this Rosh Mishans on the Mishnah in Shumais being mechalik between a sale and Teruma. Again, it's specifically a question where the Mishnah says where the Mishaleach was mechavein lahoisef al devarav. Meaning, there's no question in our case the Shliach was mechavein lahoisef al devarav, right? Definitely the Shliach is mechavein to add to what the Mishaleach told him. Okay, so that's something for Daf Tzadichas.
Recording stopped.